Hi, this is Lucy, and today I'm going to show you how to build this Regency style mini mansion. You will need a flamer trap for this build. If this is something that you are interested in, please stay tuned. So I'm going to do a quick channel update. If you are not interested in listening to me talk about real life stuff and what I'm planning to do or not do, then skip ahead. I always put timestamps in my videos. Just click down below, you'll see a little thing with more. There'll be timestamps and you can fast forward. As many of you know, I have not had a good month. One of my cats died. My youngest cat died. My tiny little wonky cat, who I've been completely paranoidly protective of for years, suddenly developed a pea-sized lump on the back of her neck. By the time I got her to the vet 4 days later, there was a weekend in the middle, she had a cluster of them, and within 2 weeks she had a 5 centimetre tumour. So yeah, it all was very quick and horrible, and I took her to see a cancer specialist and drove further than it was probably safe for me to drive. If you haven't got the memo, I am disabled. So yeah, it's been horrific, to be honest. And for those people that say, oh, it's only a cat or it's only an animal, well, I'm glad that you have family and people in your life so that you don't actually have to rely on pets to be your kind of sole social and emotional support. So, yeah, and there's some words that begin with F in there as well and end in U. When I had problems with the cats earlier in the year, because David and Flame had both been unwell earlier in the year, I had someone tell me to just, get rid of them. But they are the reason I get up in the morning. So at the moment, the boys are not dealing particularly well either. I was quite surprised. I had Flame put to sleep at my house, and I'd shut David away because he tends to get in the way of everything. He likes to be in the middle of everything. And once the vet had gone and I was waiting for the crematorium to pick up Flame, I let David out, and I'd wrapped her in a blanket and put her on the sofa. And he jumped on my lap, turned around, sniffed her, and then leapt off the sofa and ran around the house wailing. That's the only way I can describe it. So yeah, it's been difficult for all of us. So I have not produced a video for 38 days according to YouTube. I am not feeling particularly creative at the moment, I have to confess. This build was one that I built in September, October. It was going to be my Halloween build because I was planning to do a skit on Pride and Prejudice and zombies. But I like the build as a standalone build, it works fine, and so it's not overly complicated. Obviously, if you want these style windows, you will need this build set, or these build sets, but it's doable without. Going forward with the channel, I have started a Christmas build. I'm not feeling it really, so I don't know. I have 3 builds in No Man's Sky that I have not done videos for, so there may be a break from 76 for a little while, for a short period of time, until I can get back into it. With the new update coming next week, it might inspire me. I haven't actually seen what's on the scoreboard. I tend not to look too far in advance about what they're predicting for the scoreboard. So, yeah, So I'm a bit up in the air. I had planned, before the cats all got sick and everything, I had planned on doing a few real world videos to show you my horrible house. And how I'm trying to improve it. It's a very slow process. So they won't be very many of them. They won't be very often. I will probably put them in on this channel on a separate thread, rather than start a whole new channel for me doing a video maybe 4 times a year. So, right, I finished talking about everything. That's where I'm at. This build is a Regency style house. It was inspired by Longfield from Pride and Prejudice and was supposed to be Longfield in my Pride and Prejudice and Zombies skit, which didn't take place because, yeah, not enough people showed up and I just could not be bothered to rearrange it. So I built this probably September, when this, not long after this set dropped. I tried to make it look like a real Georgian house, real Regency house. I'll just go into first person. So this is the hall. We obviously have this sort of portico here. Kitchen. I've used candles. I haven't used any electric lights in this build. Merged some stuff into here. I put the cooker in the fireplace. I just merged it down on a mat. If you try and put this on top of the fireplace, it won't go, but if you put a mat down and then put that on, you can merge both of them down, and the mat is lower so it's merged, you can't see it. So yep, just sort of 17th century kitchen stuff. Something is missing off the Thanksgiving display because that's the way this thing rolls, isn't it? Right, sitting room. There are a few zombie things in here. I couldn't be bothered to take them out. If people get the connection, if they don't, I don't care. So there is actually quite a lot of Regency style furniture and items in the game, so it was fairly easy to do this style. This table is the white one you get from Graham. They've done a load of reskins, so you should know this by now, that Graham has. I have offset the staircase by a half so we can get an extra room up here. So there's just a single bedroom here. No bathroom because they did not have indoor plumbing. And this is the main bedroom. I kind of like the idea of this, but because of the way that clothes display in this game, it just seems like a huge waste of space. So some of these White Springs pictures, if you look at them, they are wearing Regency style clothing. So, and that kind of makes sense because obviously the White Springs was a colonial version of a Regency style building. So I have used those here. Actually, those paintings, are they the same? Oh, maybe. This one's different. Right, so now I will show you how I built it. So I didn't say earlier, but if you're not aware, you should be. I'm actually building at the White Springs Golf Course. Down here, this is a very famously flat spot that a lot of people build circles, including me. And the reason I built it here wasn't just because it's a nice spot to build, although it is popular, be aware of that. So you may not be able to place your camp, but also because I thought it was in keeping with the build. So we're going to start with some foundations, and we're going to line up some foundations with this path. Well, we will be replacing these or lowering them for the actual path to the house. We don't want it too low for here. Like that. And we're going to put 4 of these down. And look, I have more rats. Of course I do. The next piece will be the portico. I'll just change the colour up so you can see what I'm doing. And then 2 for the hall. And 2 by 2 either side for the rooms downstairs. And we also had these flower beds. I used the green AstroTurf, which, as you can see here, is an exact match for the flattened out grass. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. I didn't tell you you needed catwalks for this build. We're going to be offsetting the ladder here. Just take a wall. Add a half catwalk, move this floor out of the way, and add a staircase. Right, then you can take the catwalk away and the wall, put the floor back in. But if you don't have catwalks, there is another way to do this. Leave this foundation out. I'm going to take all of these foundations out here. Well, those 2 anyway. I have a blueprint, and so we've taken most of this row out. Unfortunately, this will not snap where I want it to snap, which is here. So we are going to sort of line it up like this, because that way we kind of get the line up with the path, and we will have to move these. We need to get rid of this wall, get rid of this wall. Line all these up. I've just realised the foundations are going in the opposite direction, so we'll change these to this way round. If you don't know how to produce this blueprint, I will leave a link down below to the video. It is fairly straightforward. You do have to produce 2 blueprints, but the first one that you produce, the sort of step in the middle, you can delete afterwards. These are temporary anyway, so it doesn't matter, but we're not far off. It's the only way I know of that we can line it up. Right. Walls. If you watch any of my videos, you will know that I like to use the barn set. The bottom of the build was not double walled, but to get a double wall on the top, we need to double wall the bottom. But what you can do is just take this front one off, saves you a bit of resources, and go around like this. You do not need catwalks to double wall here, you can just use a foundation. and go around and double wall. I'm not going to double wall the one in the middle because of the roof for the portico, so we will leave that for now. Don't need to double wall those ones. We are going to add the upper floors. See, we want a half here. We are going to carry on with full floors all the way down the left-hand column. Be aware that if you mess this up, which I just did, that you cannot remove these without having to put another staircase and foundation down. Right, so that is the bedroom, and we want a half here, like so. Internal walls, I double walled these. Like so. We can add internal walls downstairs. We had this kind of L-shaped kitchen because of the staircase. You don't have to double wall. I mean, upstairs I used plain walls. But the thing you will notice if you want to use the Regency set downstairs is that it has an inside and an outside. The inside has this wainscoting and the outside doesn't. So it's up to you, whichever you want to do. Now, because of these internal walls that are double walled, we are going to need to double wall the top wall arches, so that means using the brick set. We're going to add some roofs. I used this set, not the actual set that came with this. And I think I put these on here with the little windows. For the servants' quarters, although obviously we don't see them in the build. And what I tend to do when I'm double walling these is I just flatten the roofs down where there are, which is pretty much everywhere on this build, really. You don't have to do the other side, but if you don't, the flamer trap will destroy the roof. Then get your flamer trap and flamer trap these top wall arches. I use a generator these days because it means I don't have to come out of build mode, because we now have this camera, so I can kind of keep an eye on everything. If you don't want to power it up, don't power it up. Yes, people have, I wouldn't say complained, but I've had a few people mention, oh, you don't need to power them up. I know you don't need to power them up, it's just that I don't want to have to be jumping about. Before we had build camera mode, I did not power my flamer traps. You need to lift your roofs up. Then you should be able to put the double wall on. I am using the basic wood set because it has the sort of least offensive edging. Up to you, whatever you want. Like so. Before we repair that, I am going to put the roof on the portico. We are going to use this one. There is one with two sides, like so. But you have this side that's blank, which we don't want. So I'm going to quickly lift this up like so. I'm going to flamer trap that. I think I will use a toilet. Let's put that there. I'll put it here. Flamer trap that roof. Get another roof and do this. It's so the corners are perfect. Rather than using the flat one with just one side, I'm doubling up with the corner pieces. We can repair that. Before we place it down, I am going to make sure that this top wall is double walled, which it's not. So place that one down like that, and you have this complete cover. This does not need to be double walled, but it does need a wall. It was the wrong way around. If the wall won't go in, this doesn't need to be a double wall. If the wall won't go in, it will, but if it doesn't, you can always just lift the roofs up again. Right, we are pretty much there, to be honest. We can do a quick repair all for the top wall arches. If I can remember where I left. I always lose my camp widget. It is guaranteed. do with it. Right. It is actually quite dark now. I always think these things will take less time than they do. Oop. More mole rats. Right. We are going to just change these up. Make these windows. On this side. Basically, all of the windows all of the walls downstairs are windows, I think. On the front and back. For the upstairs, I used the Responders wall set. I mean, you can mix it up if you want that to be a plain wall. That's the wrong set, is it? That's the pit wall. Doesn't really matter. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. Lucy won't judge your life, your build. So go around and finish off these walls. For the upper story, I did use wallpaper and I used the light brick colour. I mean, if you don't have this wallpaper, you could just leave them as is, or you could it's up to you. I mean, if you want to just use this, you don't even really have to double wall it. You can make it as complicated or as easy as you like. So there we go. I do think I actually like another window in the middle. We could have a double, but then it hasn't got the lines. Right, finishing touches. I did, well, first of all, you may have noticed, I put some pillars in here. So I'm going to take out the front door. And if you've ever used the pillar blueprint to replace pillars, just place one on a foundation, snap another one on, place a small floor object. I use a power connector, and you have a free plate. Blueprint it, and you have a free place pillar. Now I think that the roofs are interfering, so we are going to make them plain without any decoration, and the pillar will go through. Try and line it up so it's sort of in the middle of the roof, or of the edge. I'm doing this quick and dirty. Take the top pillar off. Remove the power connector or floor object. We need to flamer trap those. Try not to hit anything else. Oops, come here. Just gives the front door a little bit more grandeur. We can turn the roofs back like so, repair the pillars. Now I did lower, I'm in the way, I did lower the path. The way I did this was just by taking this one out and lowering this one. They will always move a bit when you do this, so you have to kind of line it up. You can use the trick, but I tend to find to get it low enough it will just pull towards me, so I tend to do these manually. So can't see. It's being very tricky today. Let's do it from the other side. Right, I think that's about as low as it will go. And then go down and lower these. I used the white carpet, I don't actually know where it is, to imitate gravel, and I have to confess I got that idea from someone I played with a couple of times called Rowan Builds. Gave me the idea for that. Now, this worked when I didn't think it would. I was able to manually just snap these in last time underneath. I didn't think it would work. It seemed a fluke to me. Possibly I had my pillars pulled out a little bit more. It's not mandatory. If you want to try it, then maybe make sure you pull these out a little bit more. I mean, you don't need to lower the path, really. I mean, it's just me being pedantic. I used these edges round the flower beds. I did actually merge some daffodils down, and I put a tree in here. It's up to you. And also, you can never find these things in this menu. I used the vines. Oh, why wouldn't you go on here, and maybe it's the hedge. Ooh, why is the hedge? Okay. No. How weird. Maybe it's the roof. If the roof, this is so everything is always dependent on everything else. Yes, it's the roof. Turn that roof back. I think it's the lip on the roof. So pick one without a lip. There we go. No, got the wrong piece. Can be a pain. Come on, give me the right one. No. Try it from underneath. No, still got the same one. If this happens, put one in an upright position, because then you will know which one you've got. Is that the right one? There we go. Yay. That's pretty much it. Obviously, update the inside the same way as... I can't remember what floor I used. I think I used the marble, but... Yeah. These I actually just double walled with this set. Did I? I can't remember. I'm not sure the doorways work. Oh, we'll see. Actually, I don't think I did, because I used wallpaper in here. I can't remember. Whichever you prefer, you can double wall like so, using this wall set without wallpaper to give you the, or even with wallpaper to give you the wainscoting which goes all the way around. I think that's probably what I did. Do the floors, change the staircase up. I used this one with carpet. It's all pretty basic now. Just change everything up, match it to the outside. I realised why I double walled these now, because the inside's horrible. There we go. Right, wahoo! Dawn has broken. I did not build, well, I did actually build. I built two. When I initially built this, I built a long, thin workshop here, which I tried to make look like stables, but I wasn't 100% happy with it. So I ended up building a small workshop just round the back here. We are still within the build area, so it was sort of out of the way and out of view of the shop, because I originally built this to be basically a movie set. I can't think of anything. The only other thing I think is the front door. And I used this one, which was the closest I could get. I would have preferred a black door. I always wanted to do, after doing the brownstone, I always wanted to do Sherlock Holmes's house. But you really need a shiny black door for that. It's just iconic. I hope you like the build. If I don't see you before Christmas, have a great time. That's all from me today. Thank you for watching.